Hello,
Hi,
hello, hello, hello.
how are you?
I'm fine to a degree, but yet my Facebook doesn't show live. What the heck? Hello, Facebook.
Oh, wait, let me see. I got an alert from one of yours for your YouTube,
Uh-huh.
definitely. Let me see Facebook. You know, with all the changes, we may have gotten kicked out, thrown out, shut out.
Exactly. Oh, it's interesting because it shows under the on the channels, it says it's streaming, but yet on my Facebook page, oh, there it goes. I am streaming now. It just updated. Okay, Facebook, you kind of messing up here. Little Mark Zuckerberg.
You know what? That's why it's so far behind because it just got done with the countdown showing it. So that's why people always be like, it's a delay. It
Yeah.
takes a long time for it to get started.
It's a something, all right. Good morning, Pat. Good morning. This is me. Good evening, Patty. Good evening, Miss Bonnie. How are you, Miss Bonnie? In here.
Hey, Bonnie. We made it, Bonnie. Me and Bonnie were chit chatting behind the scenes. We made it. Only 2 hours late now, Bonnie. We're issues.
Yes, yes. Unfortunately, I was talking Angie's head off. I had to
Oh,
catch
we
up.
were having a great conversation.
I had to catch up with what was happening this week. Lord.
Exactly. And tell me how cold it was. Don didn't even have a good northeast winter coat. He had an Arizona
No.
winter coat, and that he was not ready for that.
Yes. Oh my goodness. My cousin just texted me it's minus 15 degrees where he is right now. Where
Oh
we were where we were. You
no,
know, it was at 11 o'clock in the afternoon, 3 degrees. It's like, geez, he was. And so I'm like, we need to get the heck out. Hey, Dr. Rivera, nice to see you in as well. And
hi, Dr. Rivera. Hi, Ed. Listen, Ed, recommend me a place to go to for my birthday. Kind of family friendly, but a good place that I've never gone to because I know you know a good place. So just recommend a place for me to go to the dinner for my birthday. I don't care where. Well, within the state of Arizona, because they'll be like, go to Italy.
so how was all the celebrations, Miss Angie?
Kina ended up going to a Asian restaurant out in
Mhm.
Gilbert. It was pretty good.
Mhm.
That's all we really did. She didn't really have anything else too much planned. I think they did we do anything else? No, we didn't even go to the movie. We were supposed to go to the movie that
Mhm.
weekend and we didn't. So again, we're starting off my birthday festivities on February 1st with the Long Island Medium, and then I want dinner. And then I'm looking for like some kind of theater thing for us to go to a play or something like that. So I'm
Mhm.
looking for that too. But I'll find some stuff. You know I'm going to celebrate in February, Don.
Oh, absolutely. Yes.
Thank you, Ed. He said he'll think about one for me.
Yeah, Kina will have to surrender the spotlight.
Exactly.
It was nice
Miss
for her to
Bonnie
come on
said
with
it's
us, though.
21 degrees. Yeah,
I saw that. It was nice for Kina to come on with us, though. We hadn't I had
it
not
was.
ever.
Yes. With her
Yeah.
little mean self.
Yes. We used to love folks. For you, if you guys didn't know it, Kina was our guardian gatekeeper on this show.
Baby, and
Mm,
she listen. You better be nice to Keena, or she won't put you on the list. And
that's
she kept
right.
that list in order. Nope, they were on last week. We told them the same thing last week. Nope, no.
Yeah. And she kept us in line too, didn't she? She even kept us in
Time
line.
to move on. It's time to move on. She's had enough.
Exactly.
It's
Oh
time
my
to
God,
move on.
she was funny. She's like, next, you know, I move on, and it's like, oh my goodness, she was like, oh yeah, she
Like,
was,
she would crack the whip, baby. Yes.
yes, but she did
Miss
well.
Bonnie, if you mean going to Broadway in February in New York City, I'll pass. No,
Oh
I'm
yeah,
not
because if
going.
it's cold here, it's freezing over there.
I only do those states in the summer. I can't do that now.
Exactly, exactly, exactly. Oh my goodness,
So I'll
I'm
find
sure,
something that I haven't been to and something that Brandon probably likes too.
I'm sure Ed will come up with
Oh,
some.
definitely. I know he'll pick a place that has some good food.
Yeah,
And I'm greedy, and I like to drink. So all those considered.
yeah, 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 yeah.
Oh my God.
Well, folks, it is good to see you. It's good to be back. I was telling Angie, we started our trip back from Maryland to Arizona at midday. on Monday, and we arrived Tuesday late. Well, I say early Wednesday morning at 3 a.m. So we were on the road for a long time. We were moving furniture and stuff, and it was a long drive. But it was good because I had the time to spend with my two boys, and it was wonderful to be in a truck cabin with limited technology and them actually talking and us all talking and drinking sodas and teas and whatever else and just communicating and that truck
Exactly.
is very tight, so it's like the good part and the funny things. And I felt like at one point I was with my little boys again, because sometimes they got silly and I'm like, oh, I'm back with my little boys. And then I told,
Exactly.
and then Angie, and I was telling Angie that that's fun because while you're doing this, sometimes you open up conversations that you would not have had, and then you're like, oh, well, that was interesting to know, or that was good to hear. But if it weren't
Exactly.
for having that moment,
Crown parent moments open
yes,
up.
yeah. So it was an experience, and again, getting through the cold. I mean, this, Lord,
Every route they took was cold. There was no place there it wasn't snow and wet.
no, and it was interesting because getting out just to pump snow. I mean, pump gas. It was like just you're like, holy crap! I can't see how those cowboys that are in the old movies. I can't see how they actually worked out in the cold. The people who work in the oil derricks, and the people who work in all these different fields. My uncles who were farmers. Those farmers would get out and work with the cows, all day. And I don't know how they did it. I got to give them major kudos for it.
Listen, shoveling snow was more than I could take. Okay,
Yeah,
shoveling snow was more than I could take. And my grandmother used to have so many, grandkids that somebody would come over and like shovel her sidewalks or whatever, and then I would go out behind them and put the salt down so that another layer. That
yeah.
was cold, and I wasn't even shoveling. No, no.
Yeah. Well, I tell you what, we got stuck. When we pulled the truck into the driveway. Our driveway's a little long, at the Maryland house, and so I got almost all the way there, and then it started spinning, and the truck went sideways, and and we got stuck. And so the boys came out, and we started trying to push it, and then we got shoveling and shoveling and shoveling. I shoveled more snow over the last 2 days than I have snow. And I'm like, it'd been too long. I'm like, holy crap. I can see why people have heart attacks shoveling
Shoulders
snow.
down all up in here.
Oh my gosh. Yes. And the back and the neck and whatever. I'm like, oh Lord. I'm like, y'all, I'm too old for this, and the boys, they did their share too. I mean, it wasn't as though they weren't pulling. We had to shovel and shovel. We broke that truck out on 3 different occasions and two different occasions. And third time we couldn't get it out.
I give up so easy. The first time I'd have been like, call 2 men in the truck. Tell them first they got to dig this truck out, then they got to move all this stuff into the truck, and I'll meet them in Arizona.
I was about there. I at one point. Well, I called my cousin. At the third time, I called my cousin. I said, "Bub, I need your help because I'm over this." I said, "Tomorrow, is there any way if you have nothing planned, I would appreciate it." And he said, "No, we'll come over." He said, "I don't know if my truck will do it, but make sure we get somebody over there." And the next day, sure enough. But then it took a long time to get for his son to get me out of that mess. And then once we got it loaded, we got positioned and loaded on nice, good ground. And we started to take off, and I couldn't get out. So I had to get pulled 2 more times out along that driveway before I get on the road. And I'm like, oh God, point me west. Just point me west. I'm ready.
The car you were in had no problems. It went right back and forth through the driveway.
It was a Forester Subaru, and that thing, I'm telling you what, that Subaru, it has this it's called deep snow setting, and you hit that button in deep snow, and man, that car just chewed it up without a problem. But that truck could not do a damn thing. I don't know if it was the tires, because maybe they just were summer tire. I don't know what it was, but that thing did not move out of its way. That's all I know. It was not good. But I tell you what, once it was on the road, it was good. Otherwise,
You were good.
oh my gosh. So
I hate moving in the winter at all. Just cold. I hate moving at all. So winter is not going to be anything better than for me than the summer. So but in the snow, I just don't think that my nerves could take it.
it was something. Angie, also, after we get offline last week, remember minute 48, it was actually, I went back and looked, it was 47 something. Remember that I looked at that thing over and over again. I cannot be convinced it was something other than that. I mean, I was looking for every reasonable physical thing we could say there. When you see it, you can't. I'm not
I
saying.
remember because I kept thinking like that's not real, and then you saw it too, and I said, "Well, shoot, it was real."
Yeah, yeah, and folks, what we're talking about is at minute 47 and like 47:20. I thought it was 50:48, but it was 47:20, somewhere around there, of last week's live. And you can go on to Sonoran Mystic Tarot, go over to the lives tab, and if you go to last week's live and you play it and you advance it to 47 minutes and about 20 seconds, you'll see we and at that time we had two spirits here, by the way, because remember, Angie, that's the time we were reading for a woman who had committed suicide 2 days prior. She was there, she was here, and
Yeah,
then Angie had already picked up the male who had died 2 years prior.
yeah,
And so we had two spirits we were already working with, and right here at about that time mark, that timestamp, you see this thing buzz right by.
yeah.
And I went back looking for what could it have been. There's no physical. You look at the picture. There's nothing
Remember?
physical, and not only that, but there's nothing physical here anyway. The room is empty. It's me, and so, but this white thing just goes, and
Yeah.
you're like, and
It's
I mean,
so
it's like it's shocking.
you would think your eyes were playing trick on you. And Don, had you not noticed it, I would have just been like, la da da. I'd have kept on going because I thought it was something else in the
Yeah,
background. And when you noticed, I said, that's what it was. That's what it was.
yep. And so when I went back to just say, okay, let's see. And so it's amazing, folks. It's crazy when spirit talks to you, but when they show themselves at you, to you, it's like, okay, we're having a good day today. So that's a fascinating one.
Put your questions in here. Everybody who's asking for a reading, I don't see any questions. So can you just put your question in here? And
Absolutely.
Tania said, come to Australia. Is summer there? I would, but don't they have the extra large bugs there? Is that because I used to want to go to Australia all the time, and then they told me about the abnormally large bugs there, and so I took that off my list.
Well, since you don't have any babies left, you don't have to worry about dingoes eating your baby. Remember the Meryl Streep movie? A dingo ate my baby.
Yeah,
Hmm. So who's
and
called?
then
Go ahead.
oh, go ahead.
No,
No,
go
what were
ahead.
you gonna say?
I was going to say
Um,
who's up first.
let's see.
Burp, 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 burp.
Hi, Letty. Um, well, Dupree said, "Can he get a career reading?" So I'll go with that.
Yeah, sounds good. We can do that. Let me highlight that one.
Okay, so let's see. I don't do love readings, Stacy Sutton. Love readings were this morning with Miss Bonnie. You can get a general reading.
And Miss Bonnie, we're back again on Sunday, somewhere around 11, right?
11 to 1 is also when Miss Bonnie will be on to do love readings.
Yep. So go ahead and.
All right, Dupree wanted a career reading. Hi, Christina. Let's see. So immediately when I get into your energy, Dupree, they show me a leaf. For me, leaf is green growth. They show me a leaf that is wound up really, really tight, kind of like a cabbage roll, but it's rolled up really, 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 really tight. And you're unrolling. So you're like, it's like a map that's being unrolled. So then I heard new. So I feel like you're going to get a new job or a new opportunity. It's funny to me that they showed it to me as a plant and not as like an ace of something. It's a plant. So growth definitely it must be what you're looking for in finances. You're looking for money, and you're also looking for growth opportunities in your career, and you're unrolling. But to me, you don't feel like you know which way you want to go. Like you don't know, do I want to be a doctor? Do I want a lawyer? Do I want to be an engineer? Do I want to be a bookkeeper? You don't seem to know where you're going. And so the way they rolled out this green leaf, it seems to be a map or some kind of information on the green leaf for you to decide which way you want to go. And once you do select that, it'll be like like the vines in the leaf show you which direction to go. So you need to decide what career you want to have. And once you decide that, then you'll be guided on how to navigate your climb up. Is how they're showing it to me. Is that does that make sense to you, Dupree? Okay, you're not sure where you want to go. Cool. That's how they show it to me. And that's why it's a leaf, because you don't know what you want to do. And they're saying, if you decide, like once you decide, even an area, like, you know what, I kind of want to be in the medical field, but I don't know if I want to be a doctor. I don't know if I want to be a nurse. Do I want to do admin? Do I want to do coding? Once you just decide kind of what direction you want to go, what industry you want to go, do I want to work with a group of people? Do I want to work on projects? You have to give them some kind of something. You have to know if tomorrow the job that you want could call you on the phone, would you work in office? Would you work from home? Would it be a day job? Would it be a night job? Would it be working with people? Would it be admin? Would it be computers? Would it be in a classroom? You have to have some idea of what makes you happy. I know I like talking. I know I like telling people what to do. Every single job that I do, in some aspect, I'm doing that. On all of my jobs, I'm directing or I'm doing something where I am telling people what to do in some capacity, in some kind of way, or there's some kind of organization to it. So you have to have some idea of what makes you happy. And once you even give even that little bit of a nudge, then everything else will kind of line up for you. But you have to decide some kind of way. What you're doing is basically just laying there and saying, well, whatever drops on me, that's what I'm doing. If a stethoscope drop on me, I'm gonna be a doctor. If a scales drop on me, I'm gonna be a lawyer. You're giving away all of your power and all of your authority to decide, and hoping the universe will say, you know what, Dupree, be a nurse. That's what we decided that you're going to be. And then you're going to pour all your energy into that. So win, lose, or draw, you have somebody to say, well, I did what the universe told me to do. And they're asking you to make a decision, some kind of decision, so you can get some kind of direction, some kind of movement in some kind of way, because it's rolled out and this is your time to choose. Because they're showing me 7 of Cups, which is a whole bunch of different temptations, a whole bunch of different choices. But you got to do something. You have to be proactive in it and not just lay down your power, is how they're telling me. Yes, they are very much asking you to be more where you will you need to move from where you live if you want to. You're making it seem like you've been put inside of this game and you have to do whatever your controller tells you to do. They're not trying to make you do anything. What is it that you want? How is it that do you want to move around? Do you want to go somewhere else? These are all options that are available to you. If you want to move out of the city, then look for jobs out of the city. If you're asking that because the city that you live in doesn't have the paying jobs that you want, then yes, you may have to move out of the city. If I live in Phoenix and and the jobs here don't make enough money, I may have to look outside of Phoenix, Scottsdale, Mesa, Tempe. I may have to look outside of it to find jobs that are in there, and how far out do I want to go. These are all decisions that you make. The universe isn't saying if you want to be a doctor, you have to live in this area, which means you have to move 100 miles away. You're giving away too much of your power when you need to make these decisions, and your guides will guide you to where you want to go. You keep saying, do they want me to? They want you to give them some kind of direction as to what you want, and then they'll navigate you to how to get through all the red tape to get to where you want to be. Just decide what you want. What makes you happy? Is it being a movie star? Is it being a therapist? Is it doing something in technology? Just what is it? You want someone else to choose, and they want you to choose, and they'll help you. So that's what I got for you.
I do see, I do definitely see a need for change in that regard. The one thing that I did not see though is a core, and that's, I think that's the probably at the heart of this whole conversation, because I don't think that there's any overarching desire yet nailed down, and therefore it's like a fishing expedition, shooting fish in a barrel kind of deal. You can get a job, but the job isn't the answer, it's the career. And so what I would suggest to you, strongly suggest to you, is that you consider um, finding. There's different ways you can do this, but I would reach out to your local small business administration, and it's going to be attached usually to a university. They're often in universities. They're not the university. They're just on campus because that's again one of the functions that tend to work very well with kids who are coming out of college. So, but I would reach out to the small business administration, and if they don't have it, there are other places that would do it. But then, and they offer often these free tests, and you go and you take a test, and when you take a test, it kind of gives you you answer a ton of questions. Again, it's a ton of questions. But once you answer those tons of questions, you get some feedback on the things that drive you, the things that pull you, the things that can inspire you, the things that do not inspire you, the things that will make you so much more involved, so much more engaged, those kind of things, and the things that will keep you shied away. And then they'll even suggest often types of careers that fit that narrative. Um, but more importantly, isn't what they give you in that direction is in telling you, well, maybe you should do this and this. It's understanding yourself, because I think the problem is right now you don't understand yourself well enough right now, because you want to not make a mistake and you don't want to make the wrong move, that you're afraid to make the right move, and you're afraid to really, it's like, well, I feel this, but I feel this and I feel this, or I can't, and the confidence level is low too, which is not good. So I would strongly suggest taking the test. And when you take the test, review it, understand what it is that it's saying, and don't be surprised if in the process the light comes on, because I think you have an idea of what you want from the job, and that's important. Because again, if you start a job, even if you start a career and you think you know what you want to do, but if you don't understand what you want from a job, in the end you wind up really getting frustrated, because you're thinking, wow, I got something, but that's not really now what I wanted, because it's not giving me this. Well, but that's because you didn't have that nailed down first. So that's what I would strongly suggest. I would strongly suggest you do that. And again, it's that I'm getting the feeling that you just, again, you just don't know, and you just feel like muddled or lost, and this will help give you some direction. I'm not saying it's the perfect answer. What I'm saying is it's the exploratory process that's super important.
And I just looked it up online. It's a career aptitude test. They used
There
to
you
give
go.
it to us in high school
Yep.
to tell you, like, were you more of a hands, like, trade type
Yep.
person? Would a legal route work for you? Would a medical route for you?
Exactly.
My friend actually got farmer. That was the job that they told her to do. And I think ours used to be called Moises or Moist or something like that. It was some weird kind of name.
Yeah.
But I just looked it up, and it's a career aptitude test,
Yep.
and it goes through, and based on how you answer the question, it gives you these suggestions on what
Exactly.
jobs would suit you, and then you
Yep.
can look up and decide, well, this is what I want to do.
Yep.
And that makes sense as to how my vision folded out for him. It was
Exactly.
a leaf, which is
Yep.
growth, but it was a map, and you had to decide. And once you decided what you wanted, the vines would lead you down to the growth of the plant. And so you have to decide, and because you don't know, or because you don't want to make the decision yet, and that may be just because you don't know. And another thing, if you don't want to do that, which these look like they're free, it says 8 free career aptitude tests for people who are trying to find a job.
Mhm.
Um, you can also try temporary services. Like if you want to kind of figure out what you want to do, let me try some kind of bookkeeping, some kind of admin, some kind of, like, you can go to different jobs and see what it is that you like about it. And if you don't like them, you don't have to stay with them. You can go to a different industry. I'm just trying to figure out what I like. Do I like talking on the phone? Do I like working in a group project? Do I like teaching? Do I like being in front of people? Do I like being behind the scenes? You're going to have to decide all that out, and then once you do, you can focus in on your career, because at this point, you're just going to get a whole bunch of jobs. And then in your career, like say I want a career in and like I have a career in compliance. Well, that can take me all different ways. I can go legal, I can go I can go government, I can go on regulatory side. I can go on the business side. There's so many different ways that I can do it in compliance. And so you have to decide at least where you want to go and then map it out that way,
Mhm.
or, figure out just kind of what you like or don't like.
Yeah. I do see them, however, settling on something that's service oriented. I don't know if it's a counseling situation or if it's a um, um, I just see it very involved in a service type. I'm not talking service as in fast food that kind of stuff. I'm talking service
Yeah,
as in
'cause
you
I got it
working.
more of a technology type thing,
Yeah.
but more of a behind the scenes too,
Hmm.
but also with kind of youth.
Hmm.
So I don't know.
But well, you need to Dupree asks, once I figure out um, how soon do you think I can get a job? Kind of worried about finances. That's there. This is easy for me to say. Okay, and so I will say that right now. It's easy for me to say sitting here. But again, if you put the cart before the horse, you're still going to wind up in the same situation. So make sure that you focus on understanding what it is you need and want, and get that nailed down. Because again, otherwise you get into this vicious circle of, I need a job. This isn't the job I need. I need to leave the job.
I'll take whatever.
And then back and back into the circle again and again, to the point where you keep walking away from jobs and you keep walking away from this, because it's not going to get you anywhere. But then you start getting a little older and a little older and a little older. And it's like, you know what? You're in the marketplace and of ideas. That's wonderful. But in the marketplace of employers, hey, I can hire this other person younger, cheaper for nothing, and so keep
But
that
if
in
you
mind.
are worried about your finances, you do need to bring in income while you're deciding. So I do
Exactly.
get that. You can find a job right now
Yep.
while you're exploring those
Yep.
things. Like, because what if you decide, oh, you know what, I want to go into the legal field? Well, you're not going to go decide you want to be in the legal field and get a job in a law office tomorrow. Depending on the industry or the career, because you're asking two different things. You asked about a career reading, and then you keep saying job. A job is not always a career. I have several jobs, but they may not be in my career. I had a lot of jobs before I decided that this is direction I wanted to go with my career. So you get jobs to either tell you what you don't like, what you do like, what you're good at, what you're not good at. That way you weed out all the different possibilities, and then you can move in that direction. You have I'm thinking that you're more that millennial age, because they no, because I think they would have figured it out. They would have, jumped on some kind of new skill or something. You seem to be a person who wants it very quickly, which we all do, but you have to understand you have to put in that hard work to get to where you are. Don has had multiple careers, and each one of them took a years of education, and he did a longevity with that career, then with the next career, and then with the next career. So Don has done a lot with multiple careers. It wasn't just a job, and each one of them required some level of education or training. So it's not going to be like, oh, I see this is the career I want. Tomorrow I get a job in that career. You may get a job while you're trying to figure out what career you want. A lot of people who may be going to nursing school, but they may be a cashier, or they may be, working in a clinical office. Like,
Mhm.
you have the job that is helping you to get the requirements that you need for the career,
Okay.
or you're building your experience in that field. Like, a lot of filmmakers will be like, I just kind of walked around the set. Maybe I was an assistant. I got coffee for everybody. Then I got an opportunity to do this, and then I got opportunity, and I built up. So you're not going to just walk in tomorrow and be like, you know what, I'm directing the next Ghostbusters, or I'm directing the next ET. You
Exactly.
have to put your work in whatever
Right.
career you decide you want to have.
Yeah,
So
and
that's
and as Angie said, I've had many different careers and iterations in my life, but each of them came with the work. And so, like when I wanted to get into electronics, I had to go to school. I had to pay for it. So I worked at Montgomery Ward's full time. At night, I worked as a bouncer, and on the weekends, I was a guard at a courthouse. I worked. Angie works her butt off and always works. And again, it's we doing that pre-work got me what I needed, because then I got the degree, went on and got that field and so forth. And then when I made shifts, the same thing. And so, and Angie's the same. So
Wait a
it's
minute. Don isn't, he got heavy degrees. He got a law degree, he got an engineering degree, and he did real estate. So Don has had heavy degrees. It wasn't like he went in and got a 1 year certificate. He had to put years of education in addition to working and then getting in that career and being like, you know what, I want to do something else. So each one of them took years of training.
now you're embarrassing me.
I'm just saying.
But
No stranger to hard work.
yeah. So again, and so this is the point is that, yeah, you focus on the career. Yeah, do what you need to do to make that happen. And you will be happy you did. But don't put the cart before the horse. Don't say, oh, I'm gonna get rich. Then I'll find what. Make sure you understand where you're going, and then when you have a clear picture where you're going, do what you have to do to make it happen, to get you there. And if it means working 2 jobs, 3 jobs, crap jobs, they're not your career. That's the word. They're just jobs, and the jobs get you to the career. And then once you get that career and you start making the money, you will be glad. I mean, I look back on Angie's heard it. I've joked about some of the crazy stuff that happened in the bargain center, and even some of my crazy behavior in the bargain center as an employee. But I had those great memories, and I made $4 and something cents an hour. I mean, I made nothing, And then as a bouncer, I made a little bit of money every night to do that. Nothing major. And I saw some crazy stuff as a bouncer, And then boring as hell could it be, me working at a courthouse on Saturday and Sunday just as a guard, because of course nothing happens at a courthouse. It's zero, and you're walking around and this is quiet as hell, and you're like, any noise is like, what's going on, So it is one of those things that it's sometimes it's difficult to do them while you're living them, but man, afterwards you have some
You
interesting.
look back and say, I done did a lot. Like I've experienced a lot. And that's how you figure out what you do and don't like. Working with children, I learned I don't like working with children for multiple reasons. Not because they're just little critters, but because you get very attached to them. You just, and I'm a person, I get very attached emotionally to children. I get very angry and want to take, you know, save the children, and I can't always say it. So working with children is just a lot more. I'm sorry, Doc.
Angie, you messed me up there. Well, Lord, I was a little critter.
Like I just can't work with children in any capacity. It's a lot. Overly emotional. I can't save them all. Some of them are just more, they're bad. There's a lot. And so you learn from doing the things, from having all these jobs, what you do and you don't like. And what I finally came to realize, I like telling people what to do. And so I just find jobs that let me tell people what to do.
I've gotten good at that too, actually.
Oh, and that's it. But you'll figure it out, Dupree, because I did see a lot of growth. But again, it's going to take initiative on your part. It's not just going to come to you like a group of jobs isn't just going to jump out of the sky. You're going to have to put some kind of forward movement into it to move forward. So you'll do fine.
Yep.
All right. Well, that
And
was
yeah,
a
and
good
you,
career reading.
yeah, and they've been, and the energy I pick up around them, they've been blessed with the intellect and the abilities to pursue what they choose. So the good part is you're not limited. You don't have some of those limitations that other people may have, and so know that you are blessed in that way. And so use it to your advantage. You know, we all can't do a lot of things. Dupree, you've got some basic skill sets, so utilize them. Okay.
I like that.
Badoop, badoop, badoop. Who is
All right, who's
next?
next? There's a Lillian who wants a general. There is Shield
Oh,
Nova.
Lillian.
Like they just read Shield Nova.
I thought Lillian asked for a love reading. I guess, did she change it?
No, I think that was who was it? Because I remember
Okay.
seeing her name and I
So
said her
somebody.
full name when I said it. Oh, Stacy Sutton. She wanted one at first.
No, okay.
Oh no, that was Viv Giles. She wanted a love. She said I would love a relationship reading. No. Okay. Wow, we got a whole bunch of people in here. So who are we doing now?
And Dupree, what I would suggest also is that right now our clock is telling us we're at about 35 minutes in.
Hmm.
So go back to about 25 minutes, maybe when we go off air. Go back again. Go to either Angie's page or mine on YouTube, and go back again. Go under the lives and go back up to about the 25-minute mark because your reading's been about 10 minutes, I think. Go back and listen again. And I tell this to everybody, by the way. If we read for you today or at any time, go back and watch it again. You may want to do it tomorrow and give a chance of whatever, or tonight, it doesn't matter. But I can guarantee you, while we were reading for you, you got stuck on something. Something caught your attention more than anything else, and it hooked you. And your mind is now processing this, and you're not hearing some of the other things that followed, whatever that was, and then you pick up at the end. You're like, whoa, wait a minute, I missed, oh, blah blah blah. And it's a natural, it's not a bad thing. It's just that's what we do. We wind up getting caught, hooked on certain things. So go back. What I'm telling Dupree to do, I would tell to everybody: pay attention to when your reading started, what time mark, because you'll probably have it somewhere on your camera or on your phone in the slide bar thing. Remember when your reading started, and then go back and watch it again afterwards. And
Yeah.
therefore, you will find things that you did not hear in the first one, not because you weren't listening. It's because, again, we get triggered by certain things, and then we'll get stuck on a certain issue while I'm still talking, Angie's still talking. And by the time you got back in, you've missed something that could have been significant. So keep that in
And
mind.
you can go back now. You're on YouTube. All you have to do is just move that little thing back to the beginning where we first put your
Yep.
name up,
Yep.
and then you'll be able to go back and see it. You'll be behind, and then you can just come back to live to
Yep.
wherever we are at that time, like exit out or just move the little thing, the little bar that is across there to the end of it. But you
Yep.
can go back now and go back to where we first put your name up, and that's where your reading starts. But
Yeah,
again,
I
like you
think
said
it's safe
about
to
the
say
20 or
somewhere
20,
around.
yeah.
And I think it's safe to say somewhere around the 25-minute mark. You can start there and fish around a little bit, but I think that's
Yeah,
about
and
where it
you'll
is.
find it. It could, and that's why we like. That's why I like to put your name up so you know that you're who we're talking about.
Exactly. So again, who was it, Miss Angie, that you had mentioned that you wanted
Uh,
to?
I forgot that. Oh my god. Oh, Lillian. Was it Lillian?
Brilliant.
Oh my
Okay,
god. Lillian said, "I'd love a general reading."
there we go.
Okay, Lillian. Okay, Mr. Lillian. Let me see what we have for you. I got two images for you. One was of the flower, but I think that's just because you said Lily. Do you have a little daughter, Lillian? A little girl? She's probably under 5. If not, do you want a little girl? Because they're showing me a little girl that is looking up to you, and you seem to just adore her. They're showing me a little girl. Is that true, Miss Lillian? So either you want a little girl or you have a little girl and you're looking up at her and she's looking up at you. She's about 5. There's a little girl that is really looking at you.
I picked
Yes,
the. I felt the same energy.
a little girl, okay? And
Yes.
so let me see if this seems to be a real little girl. It doesn't seem to be a spirit. It seems to be a real little girl. And then you're trying to figure out some things like you're holding this little girl or this baby girl and you're trying to figure out other things that are going on in your life, but you're trying to keep a straight face. So it's kind of like that Queen of Wands energy is how they're showing it to me, kind of like single mom doing it all or a mom that is very very busy. You have this to do for work, for school, for home, for this, for family. All boys expecting a baby now, but I want one or two. Oh, oh, you're expecting, wait, all 3 boys expecting a boy now. Oh my gosh. Because they showed me a little girl, but you want one or two more? Oh, is that correct?
No, one in 1 or 2 years.
Oh,
So she's hoping that the next one might be a girl. I think is what I'm
okay.
getting.
So I do see the little girl.
Mhm.
Are you sure this one that you're expecting now is a boy? Anyway, I get a little girl and I get her. She's about 5 years old, and you're trying to figure out, like you're trying to figure out your life. You're trying to plan what it is what you want to do, your next step or your next move. And I see you packing up a house. Are you thinking about moving? I see you packing up, like there's boxes everywhere and you're planning to relocate where, but you're like, I don't know where I'm going to put the boxes. So you want to go, but you haven't decided where you want to lay the boxes down, where you want to go. And it seems like there's all these different sceneries passing out of your window. Do I want to go to this city, this state, this place, this place? And so I feel like you want to move. Oh, girl. Okay. Oh, she said definitely another boy. Okay, so I do feel like you're trying to move, but you just don't know where you want to go. And so that's one of the things that you're trying to decide. Where do I want to go? I know I want to go because I see all the boxes packed up and you're ready to go. You don't know where you want to go. And then when I get there, do I want to, like, will I have people there? Do I want to go somewhere where family is? And then what will I do? What kind of job will I have? How will I make money? How will I support myself? Is another thing. Are you okay, you want to buy a house. Okay, I see that. But I feel like you want to relocate out of your area. And do you do something in the medical industry? Because they show me a stethoscope, but they show me like really shiny instruments. So do you do something in the medical field? Are you a nurse or are you thinking about going into nursing? You seem to be very busy. Like they really show me like a lot of busyness in your life and you trying to stay balanced and organized, like little stickers that you have on a board where you're moving. Okay, well, you have a game this day and I have to be here and I have a meeting. So you're trying to organize things and keep it in order. You're very well organized, but you're also kind of got a lot going on and you're needing a little bit of a break. Um, is I feel like there's a mom somewhere that is helping you, an older mom that is a support for you. And that is another one of the considerations that you're thinking about when you're deciding where you want to move. You're in HR. Okay. They showed me really shiny instruments for nursing, like for the medical field. I didn't get HR, I got nursing. So I'm gonna have to remember that. Because she says she's in HR, not nursing. Are you considering moving? Or is that what you want to do? Because I feel like you want to move out of the area, but there's so many different things that are kind of holding you back from deciding fully to go wherever it is. I do get a moving truck, so I do feel like you are going to be moving somewhere into a new spot. Um, I do feel like it's going to be a bit of a distance because they're putting me on a road and you're turning out of where you are and you're traveling a bit to go. So I do feel like it's either another city or another state that you're going to be in. I do feel like you will find a better job. Um, Okay, she does it all. Yeah, and your mom is always helping you. Got it. Because I see your mom in the background, and that's another reason why you may not want to actually relocate out of the area. But I do feel like you're going to move. I do feel like you're ready for a director level position, but I don't feel like it'll be in the company that you're with. I feel like you'll be recruited outside, or you'll just see something. You'll be like, oh, here's a director position. Let me apply for it. And lo and behold, you get it to your surprise because it's kind of like a jack in a box that popped out. So I do feel like a director level is coming towards you. You just have to make sure that you're very well organized. And I do feel like some remote, like you'll be working kind of like hybrid position, some from home and some from in the office. But I do, that's what I get. Okay. Little towns around. Okay. So that's what I got for her.
The question initially, yeah, interesting. I don't know. Yeah, I'm like, I saw that young girl first, and so I was like, I'm still trying to figure out how that young girl connects into all this. You know?
Right. So either that lets you know that you are going to have another baby or something, because I definitely saw a little girl in your arms that you were holding that was looking up at you.
And it's interesting because yeah, when you first started talking, before you started talking the road, I was feeling that, and then you said, I'm like, wow, this is exactly what I was picking up, and and uh, and I was like, where's this going to take us? How is this? What, in what direction is this? And it was interesting because I was picking up the two of them. So it was like okay,
Oh,
I don't know.
oh. I'm not touching that down.
Yeah,
Because twins, I don't want to even tell you that you're having that.
exactly. Yeah. Cool. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know.
She said, "That's crazy. My boyfriend and I talked about it again today." A little girl. She says, "I have been looking for a better paying job once I'm done having a baby." Woo. But I do feel like the next job you have will allow you more time to be like it'll be less work than you're doing now. Like, so maybe you go up to that director level and you're not so involved in the day to day activities. You're a higher level up. So they come to you for the big decisions and you're
Yeah.
not so, you don't seem to be so involved and so busy. And so maybe you get to do a little bit more, couple days at home, couple days in office is how they make you see.
Don't be surprised also when you go to the hospital to give birth. Don't be surprised if something happens because it's interesting. I think it kind of ties in with what Angie was picking up because again I was picking up some of the same energies, and I wouldn't be surprised if let me put it this way: hospitals have large HR components. Okay, and so it's like it's interesting because I mean if you're good as HR in any industry, you're good in HR in every industry. So you may actually get inspired to you may see an opportunity or like a sign that says, "Hey, we're looking to hire people in HR at a hospital." And you may do a move in that direction because again, I was picking up I don't think you're going to stay where you are. I feel like there is itchy
And
feet.
it's out of the blue, Don. It's not anything that she's definitely looking for. It's just kind of like,
Right.
oh, look at that. They're hiring.
Exactly. It's one of those things that finds you, and you're like, oh, there it is, a great opportunity. I'm gonna take that. So don't be surprised again. And it kind of because I definitely I just don't think you're gonna stay where you are. I think that
Yeah.
that's it. You I don't know. It's like you're not challenged enough, or you're not. You just wonder, hey, is there something more I can do? And the answer,
I feel like she's not being paid what she's worth. Like she's working harder than what her pay shows. And
exactly.
so she'll get a cushiony job that pays more and she'll be less busy.
Yeah.
Like I feel like it'll free up some of her time to raise the children.
Hmm. Super,
But
super.
amen on 5 kids, because woo.
Shoot. After the second one, I would have remembered how not to make that happen and did whatever it took to.
I was a one and done. I wanted 4 kids done. I got pregnant one time and I made sure that it never happened again. Sir, I do not want any more children.
I love it. I love it. Yeah.
Could not do it. Just listen. And I look at those people and amazing. I just love being pregnant. I just love having that baby growing me. Listen, people, no. Come get this child. And can it grow somewhere else and then I can come back and get it in 9 months? I just could not live that life. Just whoop. That's a lot of time to be pregnant. That's like a year. Oh my God.
And I think was it you or I forget who was saying that your pregnancy was not an easy one, which made that even worse. Was that you?
Me. That was
Yeah.
definitely me.
Yes. Okay. Yeah.
Definitely me.
Yeah. Because it's like that did not help to inspire another child.
And I wanted 4 because my mom had it 4. And I looked at my mom and said, "How dare you have 4 children? Like this is beyond my ability to understand. I would never do that again,
Yeah.
ever in
I, re-
life."
I remember you saying that. Yeah, about the four. You're right. And you were gonna. At one point you had thought about it. And it's like, and then you woke up. Then you woke up.
And even when I wanted to adopt, I wanted self-sufficient children. I needed children that were like 5 and above. For one, you're in school. Most of you go to school. For two, if I put you in the tub, you won't tip over. Like you're self-sufficient. You can kind of wash yourself when I take you out the tub. You don't
Requirement.
need so much regulation. You don't need me to always be just staring at you and making sure you don't tip over or eat something. Like, Mom, I want a snack. Go in the cabinet and get some Doritos out or go get you a juice box. When you're a tiny person, I gotta warm your bottle up. I gotta warm your food up. I gotta feed you. I gotta clean you up. I need you to be a little bit more self-sufficient. So I'm the person who likes the older kids to adopt. I don't want the little bitty ones where I got to do everything for you all the time. Aren't you big enough to do that yet? So
Exactly.
I don't want the little.
I tell you what, we adopted ours. Both of ours were adopted at 11 when they both turned 11. One took 2 years, one took 1 year. But I'm with you. I didn't have to do the diaper thing because I that would not work for me. I didn't have to do the bottle feeding thing because that would not work for me. I didn't have to do any of that. And yeah, I may have missed out on something, but guess what? I'll read the book. I'll read the book. I
I
didn't.
just, I'll take your word for it. I've watched it so many times. Like, listen, I've seen people get a tattoo. I'll take your word for it. It hurts. Got it. I believe it. I don't
Exactly.
even need to experience it at all.
Yep.
Perfect.
So it's like, yeah, but did I miss something? Probably so. Am I okay with that? Hell yeah.
She has 13, 9, 2, and the newborn will be born in March. And she's like, at the end of the year, let's just do it one more time. Let's just roll it through. First of all, you ain't even give yourself a wine break in between. You just like, go ahead, let's put another one in there. When do you get to drink wine, lady? Like, I just, all them kids just, all I'm thinking, okay,
Priority.
I can't do it. That's my first year. And then you got to breastfeed. I don't know if you did, but I did. That's a lot. That's like another 6 to 8 months. What is okay? That's like an elephant. You're pregnant for 2 years. I can't imagine. That's more than my nerves can take. Hey, Quinn.
I love it. I love
Bonnie
it.
said adopt at 17. I'm not opposed to it, at least in the teen area. I don't mind 13, somewhere around there. I'm good.
Hey,
By that time, you already got your own little personality too. You don't want to talk to me? I don't want to talk to you. Go in your room.
if they
We
come at
both not
17,
talk to
let's
each
hope they have
other.
a if they come at 17, let's hope they have a trust fund attached to them. Yeah, it's kind you want to help dad a little bit? Yeah, come on. Let's see what you can do with that trust fund.
Or a rich father.
That'll
No.
work too.
Okay.
Mm.
Who's next?
No, oh Lord have mercy. Leave it on me. Leave it on me. Okay. Who is here? Who here is here and who wants reading? Because some people say that they come in, they leave. Remember we did that the other day. I pointed somebody out. I had great energy, and they'd already taken off. It's like,
The very first guy that we picked, and we were ready. I had a good vision. He was gone. Um,
exactly.
Christina Bittner is here. I don't think I've ever heard of that person. And then there's a Kimberly in here. They all ask for generals. True me. Oh, I haven't seen you. You're back. Good to see you. So those are the ones that I see so far. Kimberly, Crystal Bittner, True Me. Yeah, all those.
Let's do Kimberly.
All right, Kimberly. And I
Kim-
think Kimberly asked for a general.
General. She wants the general.
Immediately, Kimberly, they show me you. And am I saying that right? Because it looks like Kimberly. Um, you are on a seesaw. It kind of goes up and down, and your side is weighed heavily down. And it seems that your guardian angel or your higher power or your spiritual guidance is on this side up here. And the weight that you're carrying is so heavy, they can't balance you out, but the weight doesn't seem to be all of yours. They're showing me you just attracting things from the universe. So you're attracting other people's problems. Like maybe you're trying to help them out. Like, oh, I can solve that problem for you. I can solve that problem for you. But you're not really able to get to the heart of your own problems because you're carrying the weight of so many other people. And you need to kind of let go of some of these things that are not your own weight, is how they're showing it to me. Like they're showing me 10 of wands and they're pulling the wands from you. So now you're down to a 9 of wands and you're weary and battle tested, but they're asking you to be resilient because we're taking some of these things away from you. So now we're taking you down to the 8 of wands, which is action, which is moving forward, but you're moving forward in your own, for your own self, not for everybody else. Stop being the great aunt, the great sister, the great wife, the great person where you're solving everybody's problems but your own. And they're saying you need to do something. Are you having a heart issue or a chest or a lung issue? Because I'm getting a little bit of pressure and tightness in my chest. So that's either the weight of everything that's going on, or you're having some kind of condition or some kind of something that you may want to get checked out in here, because I'm getting a tightness in my chest. So is it the weight of everybody else's situation, or is it that you are actually having a medical issue in here? But overall, you really do need to kind of concentrate on how you want to move forward, because I feel like you're putting yourself in a bit of a financial bind by helping others. Like, oh, can I borrow this? I really need it so I won't get my lights cut off. And you're like, oh, okay, I was really saving this for something else, but I'll give it to you. And so now you're getting to the point where it's kind of financially stretching you thin by helping someone else out. And I feel like maybe you are married and maybe your significant other is saying, whoa, calm down, or somebody's giving you the advice, and it seems to be more of a masculine energy to say, hey, you need to pay attention to what's going on in your household. You can't take care of everybody else's. And your word for 2025 seems to be no. Sorry, I can't do that. I have other obligations. I don't have the bandwidth, but you're going to have to like look up 100 different ways to say no. Nope, I just don't have the bandwidth for that. One of my managers said that once, and I took that, and I was like, I love that, because I'm not really saying no. I don't have the bandwidth to do that. So, and she was meaning it in a case where your manager is giving you too much. Well, do you want to take some of these other things off my plate so that I can do those things? Or do you just want to find somebody else to do it? I don't have the bandwidth to be able to do that. I'm just not in a place where I can help you at that right now. I have other obligations. I've already invested in something else, different ways of saying no. And so I feel like once you do that, you'll find out that it'll ease up the purse strings for you. It'll take a lot of pressure off of you, and you won't be the go-to person for a while. And then you'll kind of get a little bit of ease. Um, and so, because I don't feel like there's a lot of heavy in your life, but you've taken on everybody else's stuff. Do you have two little littles? I feel like there's a boy and maybe a little girl. Do you have two children that are yours? That you need to like, that's where your focus needs to be. And does somebody dance? I feel like somebody's dancing or something like that. Like their extracurricular activities is where you need to step it up or where you need to pay attention. Somebody, I get dance though, that somebody dances. I get two little littles, and I get one is, I want to say one is a girl. I know one is a boy. One feels like a boy, and then or male energy, and then I get the that one dances. So I get two little littles, and then you're single. You don't have any male influence or any masculine energy that would be telling you, hey, to pull back. And it does, if it's not a spouse, it could be a friend, it could be a coworker, or it could just be somebody with strong masculine energy is telling you, hey, you might not want to do that. You might want to get back. You're saying no kids. I definitely get two little kids around you. So do you not want, do you want kids? Because I get a girl and a boy energy around you, and one of them wants to dance. Or were you a dancer? Like, did you used to dance when you were smaller? Because it feels like I want to say some kind of group dance, ballet or um, dance squad or something like that. I get some kind of dancing. And I get you trying to focus on your own. Like maybe if you get out of everybody else's, or maybe that's the family that you want to build and you can't build it because you're in everybody else's situation. And not to say that you're in their business, but you're always trying to help everybody else out. And if you kind of more focus on you, you can build that nutshell of what you want, the husband and the two children. Because I definitely see two children, but I also see a male influence that is telling you, hey, we need to kind of tighten our purse strings, or we kind of need to focus in on our unit, and then we'll move forward. So that's what I got for you. And that's all I got for Miss Kimberly.
Hmm. So Kimberly, are you involved with somebody right now? Are you
She said, no, I'm single.
hmm.
Cause I feel like that is coming. Like I feel like I can see her whole future. Like you couldn't tell me that this isn't her life right now. A husband and two children. So maybe
Mhm.
that's the direction that she's supposed to be going in if she concentrates on herself and not everybody else.
Yeah, because I'm picking up some heavy involvement with somebody. I'm trying to pick out. So you're not even dating, Kimberly? I mean, something's not adding up. It's like I'm curious why the energies are as they are. Hmm. Um. So Kimberly, were you in a relationship and it recently ended and did not end well? Again, did you did he step out on you? Were you in a relationship and the other person stepped out on you, and then you stepped out? You kind of said, "That's it, I'm done." Because I'm getting the broken promises. I'm getting, you kind of felt like you were. I just get the feeling like you you were headed you were headed someplace, but it didn't seem to be the whole. Everybody else was coming with you, and you're like, so that kind of blew up on you, and it's kind of like scarred you. So now you're kind of a little too you cut and run quicker, and I don't mean that as a negative about cut and run when I said that, but what I'm saying is you don't give people the credit you used to. You give them less leadway. You give them um, um, less excuses. You give them again and again. It's like you're harder. You're harder now on people than you were, and it was and I kept coming back to the question of why would you do that? It's what was drawing you? Why would you want to do that? And it's interesting because I'm picking up I just pick up the feeling like you were. So are you combative? Are you are you the drama?
She said he had to leave. Oh,
Yeah.
her guard is up higher now. Okay.
So yeah, be careful with that guard. Be careful with putting it high. And I totally get the fact that you want to protect yourself, but be careful about that because again, I think that part of I do unfortunately believe that you were part of the problem. You didn't want to acknowledge it, and you're kind of like this way he gets all the blame. But I don't think he deserves all the blame. Um, and so be careful not to isolate yourself away, okay? Because that's just not healthy. But yeah.
I feel like love is coming, and this is just preparing you to be open to it. Because you couldn't have told me that that wasn't her current life, like that husband
Right.
and two children. And I feel like if she kind of focuses more on her happiness and her joy, like how she wants to move forward,
Mhm.
it'll just find her. She won't have to find it,
No.
and she'll be fine with it. Like I don't get any career, I don't get any kind of things like that. This was very much focusing on the family life.
She says she takes responsibility for her part now.
Well, there you go. I don't know that he'll come back. But I do get a very a good love energy for you. I feel like that's coming for you
Yeah.
because I myself didn't get any career or anything for her.
But make sure that the guard that you put up is put up at the appropriate times and then also taken down because you leave it up all the time. It's not going to make life easier. It's going to make life more difficult. And also keep away the right one when the right one finally comes along, and you don't want to do that. Um, hmm.
Very much in a balance. She needs to find that balance and again concentrate more on you and less on others. You're giving away too much of your resources and your resources could be your time, your energy, your advice. All of those are resources that are a part of you, not necessarily just your money, your space, or whatever. You're giving away too much of you and you have nothing left to replenish you or to move yourself forward. So if you want to move forward in any capacity, you need to give yourself a little bit more self-care. And that could be anything. Just, spending a day at home where you just sit and watch TV and stay in the house and just do nothing. That's okay. Or you get out and do something that you love to do, like maybe walk in the park, go to the beach, or whatever it is, but you're giving yourself a little bit more fun. Even if it's go out with the girls, it's something that you have to do, that there's not a dependency on you to do it, to plan it, to pay for it, to call everybody together. You're just out having a good time. You need a little bit more self-care.
Yeah. And Kimberly, while you're here, who's the young gentleman between the age of 14 and 16 who took his own life? Who do you do? How does that person connect to you, or does he connect to you? Is he part of your energy? Because he wasn't here until just a few minutes ago, and so the only difference is I'm reading for you specifically, where before I was not reading. And so again, the assumption is there. But can you confirm, Kimberly? Do you know somebody recently or somebody not so long ago that again was who took their own life? Again, I'm getting male energy. Dark hair, brown hair. It's funny. Very positive person actually, which is interesting because I'm connecting to this positive energy, but I know they didn't. They took their own life. So it's like it's very strange how that those two things come together. Took his own life, but was happy. And the car accident, Kimberly, were you in a car accident recently? I get the feeling you weren't driving. I think you were a passenger because I'm not seeing you behind the wheel. I'm seeing you more as a passenger. Does that ring through? Hmm. 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 Yeah, I don't know what else to add. I don't know what else to add. But there's a lot of, it's like I there's so much indecisiveness around you. I feel a lot of like fog. Is it fog of war? Fog of relationships? Fog of I just and it's I get your positive energy, which is interesting. You stay positive throughout, um, but there is an energy at the that is you know right across from where I am, and that one has a really good feel to it, and a good kind of energy that wants to come upon you. But I just also I'm just picking up this quandary. So um, all I can say is keep working through it. Keep asking questions of the spirits. Make sure that you and you don't have to get deep. Don't worry about that. Just it's like, hey, you know, is there a more direct route to income, to money? You know, and don't be surprised that that actually works in comparison to some of the other stuff that happens. I'm not saying one way or the other, but there's such great water sources here, so take advantage of the opportunity to appreciate and even utilize that water. It's important. And why they're giving me water, I'm really
It's funny that you say that, Don, because the last thing I said was, is there a specific word left for Kimberly? And they showed me like somebody surfing, and when you got done, I was gonna say, Kimberly,
Mhm.
what's with the surfing? Are you a surfer person? Are you a beach person? Why are they showing it to me? And sometimes when they show me surfing, like I always look at mode of transportation. So you're on the surfboard and you're riding the wave. And so once you get the momentum of moving forward in your life, again, they're being very specific. Once you get the momentum of moving forward, you're going to ride that wave and you're going to go higher and higher and higher. So you first have to get the momentum of getting your life back on track. Like they show me you being put into like a train car, like one of the little trolley cars. You're being put in one of those and you're being made to go forward. You're not allowed to go this way or this way. You're going forward because now this is your own personal track. You were on everybody else's track. And so once you get back on track, it's like you'll just kind of ride that wave and make progress forward for your own self in the direction that you want to go. But you have to focus on you and not so many other things. And they're kind of making it seem like it's kind of like an excuse, not that you're not trying to do the work or a way for you to deal with um not kind of dealing with your own stuff or not kind of maybe dealing with loneliness. You know, like sometimes we'll be like, oh, well, I'm going to go and help these people. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. And then that way I can be busy about everything else and not realize how much or not realize what's really going on in my life. And so they want you to focus a little bit more on your life and what you want to do in the direction you want to go. And then you'll start to ride the wave. You're just too off. That's the chaos that you feel, Don. It's just too many other people's lives
Mhm.
intersecting hers. And she said no car accident, so I don't know.
Hmm. Be careful then. If you have not experienced one, be careful over the next 2 or 3 weeks. I would be cautious when I'm driving. I would be more alert about what's happening around me. I'm not saying you're going to start this fire. I do not know, but I do know there is a not fire car accident, but I do feel car accident is yeah something's happening around that. Um, yeah.
And she says she's on a spiritual journey. And remember, the very first image I saw of you was on a seesaw, and your side was very heavily on the ground, and your spirit team was way up here and they couldn't balance it out because the weight that you were carrying wasn't all your weight. So
Mhm.
as you let all these other things go that have nothing to do with you, your side starts to rise and you balance out and you can connect better with your spirit team. You
Yeah.
have so much other stuff going on. You can't hear the simple things that they're saying. It could be a bird chirp. It could be a song. It could be a quote on a movie. It could be a billboard that you see. You're dismissing everything because you're too distracted by things that don't pertain to you. So that's how they're showing it to me.
Super.
All right, who's next? Who was that? There was a Brittany, not gosh, who was it? Christina Bittner or Tania. She's from Australia. Tania, okay. Reading if you can. Tania, are you still here? And am I saying your name right? That sounds right, Tania. Australia. Okay. So at first they showed me like you jumping around, Tania. And then they showed me you like in a jousting match or in a sword fight with someone else. So there seems to be two of you and you're in a gridlock because that sword fight turns into a stalemate. Like you're just fighting each other at this point, but you don't really know why you're fighting, but you know that you just have to keep fighting. So you're like, well, I don't even know why I'm fighting. I just know that I'm in this battle and I have to battle. So you're battling another strong energy. It feels like a male energy. So you seem to be in this battle with a male or a very strong male energy, and you're just fighting, but you don't even know how you're fighting. It's kind of like when a husband and wife kind of get into an argument and they take it out so long. What are we even fighting for? Or maybe siblings get into an argument and it's like, well, what did we originally start fighting for? Because you said I was a bad mom. That was 5 years ago, and you're still arguing over something that you should have squashed. So it seems to be a battle that you're having with another person that you don't really even know what the cause of the fight is right now. So that's what I got. Tania. Okay. Tanya. Oh, yeah, I would have never got that. Tanya. Okay. I got it. Thank you. And so you seem to be in a battle that you don't have to be in. The world is going along around you, and you're in this kind of virtual world having this battle with someone that you don't need to have a battle with. And they're saying if you just step out of the ring, the fight will end because there'll be nobody else to battle with. Just step out of the ring that you're in, the battle that you're in, and then you can literally resume your life and move on, and nothing else will happen. And if you do, you'll be on a different road that leads you. And these are their words, not mine. You'll be on the road to success, but it'll be in a different direction. Like maybe as you were battling this person and going around, you started off and you were going east. By the time you actually realize you can just step out of this battle, you're now going north. And this is the way that you needed to go. So this kind of just threw you around. It's not a wheel of fortune. They're not showing me that because I don't think things were too bad for you. It's kind of like a merry-go-round. You were going round and round over something that you didn't have to. And now they're saying, but if you just step out of the ring, step off of the ride, you'll move forward and you'll progress in a different way. So I feel a career change or some kind of job change where you're doing something totally different. Like, oh, maybe I was like, working in a call center answering phone calls for AT&T, and now boom, I'm an accountant and I am doing, financial spreadsheets for people or whatever you do as an accountant. So I feel like there's a great change coming upon you.
But what's the hesitation happening in your life right now? Because I'm also picking up some hesitation. Did you okay? Why did you lose your confidence? What created the environment that you kind of lost your confidence? Is
She
it a
says she's been
trust?
battling a narcissistic son.
Is that what it is? Because there's a trust question too. And it's funny because I don't. You're somebody who likes to trust. You're somebody who doesn't have a problem with trust, but for some reason this one bothers you because you can't trust them. And so, and they've proven over and over again why they can't be. But at the same time, you feel guilty about it. Don't feel guilty. Don't feel guilty. They've proven why you can validate the reason for not trusting. I mean, they've given you reasons. And I mean, not you can't love everybody the same. You can't trust everybody the same. You can take that and know that. But and also it's not yours. Don't own it. It's not. Their crap is their crap, and you gotta let their crap be their crap. You can't continue to take care of that for them. They're going to have to stand up or they're going to have to fall down, but you're going to have to let them do one of the two. um, this is just just get such an unhealthy environment around this situation.
And
So
that's why I feel like when she moves on, she's going to move in a totally different direction.
yeah,
And that's going to be the separation. And then that's when she's going to start having the
yeah,
success because it feels like a completely different world. Like you walked into one place, and when you walked out, it was a completely different world. Like you walked into the 80s and when you came out, it was the 90s. You're like, wait, everything's changed and it's totally different, but in a good way for you.
yeah, and yeah, you're gonna have to find some way to you have to find something that'll help you bring release. And I'm not talking relief, but release. I just need you to get rid of some of this baggage you're carrying. I need you to get rid of some of this anxiety. And I mean, just it really is time for you to kind of determine that there's something more for you, and not everybody is right for you. And
And we just had the full moon. We just had the full moon. We're coming into the new moon. Set your intentions as to what you want. I want a better relationship with my son. Don't pray, oh, I hope my son becomes this. I want to change my son. I want a better relationship with him. Then
Mhm.
that way you work on what you can do, and then the universe will help him work on what he can do. Don't just say, I want him to change. I want him to know that he's a narcissist. I want him to know this. I want a better relationship with my son, a positive, better relationship with my son. And while we're working on that, you can write other things down. I want this kind of job. I want this kind of life. I want this kind of house. I want this kind of car. Like write down your intentions as to what you want, be there emotional, spiritual, physical, or financial. Write everything down that you want and then move forward, because we're about to go into that new moon, and you can still release. You can say, hey, I still want to release this as I'm moving into my new stuff, because you got to release it to make room for the new stuff. So
Yeah.
maybe I need to release a little while I'm preparing for the new stuff that I want.
Yeah. Good luck with that. Again, I think that you need to work on
Kind of
yourself.
heavy.
Yeah, and you need to work on yourself a little bit um, before you really can see what you need in others. So do just give yourself a little time to learn, grow, and watch. Okay,
Exactly.
come
Yeah.
on.
And it's hard to say that with your kids, but again, sometimes you have to give them that, you have to let them learn that lesson. And as they learn that lesson and they experience stuff on the outside, they'll be like, dang, I understand. I understand. Because as much as I didn't want to be like my mom, I'm a lot like my mom.
And it ain't a blip when you told yourself I'm never gonna be like this person, and then you say something and you hear your parents come out, and you're like, did I just say that? I'm becoming my parents. You know, it's like
Exactly.
oh,
Listen, when I realized that I was watching the news, because my mom used to watch the news all the time. Why is she watching the news all the time? And one morning I woke up and I was watching news. I said, I done turned this into my mom. I done turned this into my mama. And there's so many things that she does that I do, or so many things that I've seen that she did in my childhood that I appreciated, that I
mhm.
learned from as an adult. And so as much as you don't want to be like somebody, or you think that you're going to be different, you learn. You learn.
Sister girl, you said, can you have a question? You may have a question. Give us the question though, because we don't read the
Exactly.
questions. We ask questions about what you ask questions about.
So Tanya, you're on the right track. If you've already disconnected from your son, and no matter how hard it'll be, you can still be like, "Hey, how you doing? Just checking on you," and move forward. You don't have to fully engage with with all the drama and the shenanigans and whatever. Or if you just need that distance for you to be able to move on a little while, then you may have to like cut that connection off for a little while until you feel like you're strong enough to communicate differently and focus on the things that you want. One of the things that my guides told me, because I kept saying, well, what is it that I need to focus on? What do I need to focus on? And I kept getting the same thing over and over and over again. The star card. What is it that you want? What are your wishes? Focus on what you want it to be, not where it's not right now. Like, don't focus on the things you don't have. Where do you want it to be? And so that's what I've been focusing on. I've been imagining where I want to live, where I want to travel, what kind of car I want, how much money I want, what kind of job I want. So that's where my focus is. So focus on the things you want to bring in, and not the things so much you want to take away. List those things, burn them up, give it back to the earth. Don has a great new full moon ritual that you can do. Do that. Miss Shauna has a great planner for the year that you can look at, that goes through all of the moon cycles and all of the activity of the planets and everything that'll help you out. Both of those are good resources for you to be able to kind of figure out what you want. And then Miss Susan's book has past life regressions in there. If you feel like there's some past life things you want to go through, if I'm not mistaken, it's page 75 of her second edition, that you can do past life regression. So there's a lot of resources that we have available to you just from being in our little group of readers Monday through Friday, that'll help you to move forward, and help you get yourself back on track. I bought a book today. Like, I went to go and buy a journal, and I was like, oh no, I'm not gonna get it. I'm just gonna get one. And I found a journal that said hello, and it just felt like, no, it said happy, and I just bought it. It's just a little book that I want to start journaling in. I have another book, and I was like, no, I'm not gonna buy one. And this was at the Dollar Tree. I don't know if y'all have that, and it just said happy on it. And for some reason, I wanted it because that's all I want to be, is happy. And so I bought this little book, and this is going to be my new little journal or notebook. There was another one that said, it said, something, see, there was two different ones, and I thought, oh, these are good ones. And it was just about positive affirmations that were on the front of it. I said, this is a good one. I think I'm going to go back and get the other two, one for my sister and one for my friend. But it was kind of like, um success maker or success something. There was two other ones, and it's just setting your intentions to move forward. And again, I don't know how many times I could tell y'all this. Don gave us something that he said, send your guides out. Don't go and do all the work yourself. Tell your guides what you want and let them go out and bring it to you. I want to learn about this or I want to know about that. So they bring somebody into your life to do that. I wanted to learn how to trade stocks. They brought a coworker to me who just in a casual conversation was like, well, you know, you can do that through blah, blah, blah. Just go into our HR app and you could buy stocks directly from our company. What? Me sending out my guys to get what I want and then bringing them back. If you want them to send out somebody who can help you to heal yourself, then do that. That's what you need to do. So that's what I got for you.
Super. And who's next, Miss Angie? I did.
Um,
I did see somebody. I thought I was gonna give her a reading, but she wanted a love thing. It's like, yes, sorry, we don't really do the love
no
things.
love.
And if you're wondering if he's sleeping in somebody else's bed, maybe you asking the question may indicate how you feel already. So it's like, talk to your spirit guides. Ask your spirit guide to give you direction on that regard, and don't be surprised if you get your answer yourself.
Also, Miss Bonnie does the love reading. She did it this morning. So you missed her with the love readings and relationship readings, but she'll be back on Sunday. But this is another thing. You have a gut feeling for a reason. If you feel like that person is, then you already know the answer. That's one of the reasons I don't do love readings, is because you usually already know the answer. You're just hoping that I give you another reason to hope. And if you're thinking that he's sleeping with somebody else, then probably he's sleeping with somebody else. That's your inner guidance, that gut feeling, that question even popping up in your head. That's your inner guidance. That's your higher power. That's your spirit guide. That's your team telling you red flag, red flag, red flag. And what you're trying to do is turn those red flags pink and be like, oh, well, it's just my insecurities. It's my whatever. No, if you're getting that gut feeling, then move away from it. Just totally move away from it. That's your warning system. That's your higher power. That's your connection to tell you, nope, don't do it.
When you
Look
start
at my
trying to
face.
negotiate with a reader, when you start trying to negotiate with a reader with a reading that you ask them to give you, when you start negotiating with a reader who's reading for you after you ask them to do it, then you think about why you're doing that. Instead of asking the questions you want to ask, think, why would I do that? Why would I try to negotiate with a real? Guess what? If they are true, and if they have the integrity that Angie does and myself and our group have, uh, our answer is not going to change. Our answer will be the same as whatever we're told it to be by spirit. And that's the other thing is again, we will give you as much information as comes to us, but we are not going to give you information that
Not
you
true.
want to hear necessarily. If it is intended for you to hear it, then you will hear it, whether it be good or bad. But if you're expecting, if you come in here knowing you got a mess and you're a messy person, and you want a tarot reader to tell you, "Oh my gosh, you're the greatest thing since sliced bread," um, I'm going to ask you, what were you smoking behind that behind the schoolhouse? Because the reality is that something is missing here. Something is missing here, and it's fine. It's not a bad. I'm not. I don't mean to bash anybody. I'm just saying that again, generally speaking, when you ask questions, some of them you already know. So
And I feel like Sister Girl goes through his phone, or she's seen something that's given her that. That's a very specific question. It not, is he cheating on me? Not, is he sleeping in somebody else's bed?
yeah,
You have a reason to know the answer to that question. And you're like, and you're, no, I don't do relationships at all. No love at all. And this is why we,
exactly. Exactly. And
this
in this
is why.
and in this situation, this is
And this is because you start, again, just what Don said, you start negotiating with the reader. Okay, well, can you tell me this? Okay, well, can you tell me that? You already know the vibe. You're just hoping that we tell you something different. And I'm not getting a good vibe from this situation. You already know. Like, I feel like you've gotten little breadcrumbs along the way, And instead of you understanding and putting the picture together, you're throwing them out. Nope, that's not true. That could just be me. Well, if I look at it this way, if I look at it that way, you have a gut feeling, you have a woman's intuition, use it. Don't be afraid to let somebody go. If it's truly not what you're thinking it is, then you'll get other then that'll work out. But in this situation, I don't get a good vibe on a relationship. And I do get that you are asking these questions for a reason. Like maybe you've asked him over and over and over and over again, and you feel like he's lying to you. He probably is lying to you.
And unfortunately, in this situation, sister girl, I don't know you, as you know, as anybody out there knows, we don't know who you are. But sister girl, sometimes when you find a person in a relationship and then you wind up with that person, though they're no longer in that same relationship, now they're with you, don't be surprised if during another time down the road they do the same thing to you and you act all surprised, like, I don't know how this happened. I mean, they don't change their
You
spots.
haven't gone through his phone, you want to go. Like I feel I honestly see you going through his phone because you're that curious and you're that there's something there's a mismatch in the energy between you two. And that's the reason. Like either you're thinking that he's too good for you or you're not thinking that you're good enough. Like there's a mismatch in the energy as to why you're not trusting what he's saying, and it could be that he's giving you examples of why not to, but I do feel you going through his phone, and I do feel that you are validated in the reasons that you don't believe. Don't dismiss your women's intuition. Don't ever do. And ask your guides for a sign. That's what your higher power is for. You're asking me. The only thing I'm doing is going to your higher power. So you're basically making us the Catholic Church. You're going to us to confessional and asking me to get the information for you. Just go
Mhm.
directly to your higher power. That's what you want to do. Go directly to whoever you pray to. Is he cheating on me? Send me a sign. Show me a white dove if he is. Show me a dream of a butterfly if he isn't. Make it something simple. Don't make it something that's, so hard that that it could be anything. Well, I asked him to show me water or to show me an ocean, and then I saw the word ocean and I didn't believe it. There's different ways to do ocean. So I just don't believe. I believe that your gut feeling is right.
Yeah, yeah, I think so too. Yeah, but
So if I was you, I would move on.
yeah, get a better, if you want to get better, if you want to get a better barometer of the scope of it, I guess you would say. Um, Talk to your spirit guides tonight before you go to bed. Before, even if you do not have a relationship with them, before you.
Listen to Don's meditation first to
Oh
get
yeah,
to know them.
yeah, and then before you go to bed, ask your spirit guides to give you specific hits, specific signs, specific information in your dreams during the evening, so that you can confirm or deny what it is you're feeling. And then the next part about that is make sure that when you get the information, after you've asked for the information and you get it, don't deny it. At that point, if it comes back negative, unfortunately, go with the negative. But if it comes back positive, then it's not wonderful. But again, ask your spirit guides before you go to bed to go ahead and give you the signs, help you to make sure you understand your situation. Um, but ultimately, I think you're going to find what Angie and I were tapping into, and I don't think I think it's what you think it is, but where you're hoping it isn't. I'll put it that way.
Exactly. You're hoping that we'll tell you something else.
Yeah, yeah. You one more, Miss Angie. Who? One more lucky guest.
All right. Let's see. There was who was the person who asked us like 50 times? Christina Butler. She asked for a Bittner. She asked for a general.
And I think she just
Hi,
posted
Sandra.
her question again here just a few minutes ago. Christine, are you still here? Confirm that you are, my dear.
Oh, yep. She said me at the top.
Here we go. And was it a
Okay.
general, Christina, or specific? And again, if it's specific, just give us the question. Don't say specific. We're good there. I am alignment for the county.
And I don't know if it's your picture that made me think of that, but are you in a family feud where there's a whole bunch of people and you're like, you seem to be the person that's battling with a whole bunch of, like, there's a family situation and you're standing here and you're arguing with this person and this person and this person and this person. So is there a family feud? That's the first thing I kind of got, was that there's a lot of strings that are tying you to different people, and not necessarily that you're the cause of the family feud, but you're involved in it in this way. Like maybe you're saying, well, Auntie said this. Well, Uncle Joe said that, and then maybe cousin blah 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 said this. There seems to be a family feud going on, and you're like the executive of the estate. Like maybe there was a loss, and you're the executor of the estate, and all these people are chomping at you because you have the control. You seem to be the person in control, and all these people are connected to you. And I definitely get a family feud because you have to make the decisions, and all of them are trying to influence your decision, is how I get it. They show me you growing up as the emperor. They show me you as the emperor, so you are very capable of dishing out your rulings or your advice or whatever. But it is pulling on you. All these strings are connected to you, and they're pulling your energy out. Like this person's pulling on you, this person's pulling on you, this person's pulling on you, and you're doing a very good job because I see you growing taller and taller and taller. But you're not helping them to become more self-sufficient. They're just asking for more. So the bigger you get, so it's like you're rising up in your life, in your career, and your whatever. But the more that you rise up, the more that they demand for you. So you're not making them self sufficient. You're not making them accountable to themselves. You're basically enabling them by, let me borrow $200. Let me, well, blah, blah, blah. Okay, you can come stay with me. Oh, you need a babysitter. You waited to the last minute. You don't have anybody. Sure, I'll do it. Oh, you need somebody to drive you around. You need somebody to use their car. You're enabling them. And instead of making them self sufficient to do it on their own, and what I see is the universe coming through with a big set of scissors and cutting all those little lines. And now you're the bitch of the family because you won't help anybody, but you're also teaching them how to do this on their own. And I had to learn this the hard way as a person that when I worked in the shelter, I had all these clients and I used to be like, well, why would you make her go on the bus to take her kid to the doctor? Like we have a van here. Why don't we just get in the van and drive her to the doctor and then come back to get her? She says, I always make them come up with 3 different solutions on their own, because what happens when they're not in the program and I can't drive them around? Did they use all their bus passes? Did they call a friend? Did they do this? Did they do that? So she used to make them come up with 3 different options before they could come to her. And they had and then even if she came up with another option, but you have to make them self-sufficient. You can help them, but then you can teach them how to fish instead of always giving them what they need. You are, okay, since you've cut back. Okay, and that's how they're showing it, as now you're becoming the bitch in the family, and they are mad at you, but they will learn how to grow. The ones who, not all of them, the ones who want to grow will grow from what you're teaching them. The ones who don't, you don't need them holding you down anyway. And it's not the Bank of Christina. You're not just giving everybody everything that they need. You either teach them how to become self-sufficient, or you keep enabling them and giving up all of your resources to them, and draining yourself spiritually, because it's draining you physically, spiritually, and emotionally, because it's a lot of heavy stuff and you're a problem solver. You seem like a project manager or somebody like that who is very organized and gives out great advice, and people rather come to you than to try and make their own decisions. And you're going to have to cut that back. I get romance. Are you thinking about going on a cruise, like a lover's cruise or a singles cruise? Because I see you meeting somebody romantically or rekindling some kind of romantic thing. Like everybody has on kind of like white, dressy, kind of loose fitting, light clothing. So I feel you on a cruise or some kind of travel trip, and you meet somebody or you're rekindling with somebody. But I do get a romantic vibe to you coming. to you going forward. So romance seems to be in there. If you're with somebody, a rekindling of your romance. If you're not with somebody, you're going to meet somebody and it's going to be out on a trip somewhere. So that's what I got.
Christina, I think I'm picking up for you. I don't. You didn't ask the question, um, but I think I'm picking. I just it's interesting. I'm like I feel like you lost this month. You lost January, and I think you missed an opportunity, but it is not too late. Okay, we are in a new year, Christina, and I believe the spirits and the universe wants to deliver to you a change. They want to shake things up, and I think you're too insecure because of your failure of confidence that you're not listening. You're not listening. You're not hearing. The universe has been sending you swift signals. Now, if you are not careful and you continue to not listen, let me give you a little advice here. I'm going to have Valerie give you a little advice. And so, what I'm getting at is, I let me give you the long shot. The long shot is this is going to be an amazing year for you. It's going to be one of your best years ever. Okay, and you've already missed the beginning of it because you've sat back, you have been looking at your navel and wondering, oh, how much fuzz is in my damn navel. Guess what? Forget about your navel. Look outward, not inward, and start focusing on so much that's out there. Christina, there is something amazing waiting for you, and it's right in front of you, and it is all around you. But when it finally shows itself, and it has not yet done so, that's why I tell you it's not too late. You have got to be prepared. So you need to make sure that you're doing some meditations, that your chakras are properly aligned. You have to make sure that you are connected enough to the point where you understand that if you're feeling a certain temperature shift that is from nowhere and then it disappears again quickly, that's probably a spirit passes through you. If you are getting signs repeatedly, know they are signs for a specific thing. Again, be aware of what's around you because the information is there and you need to jump on something quickly. And by March, you will have jumped on it. And do not you do the, oh, but I can't because I can't because I can't because I can't because. What's going to happen is if you cannot because now, you won't in the future. So again, there's so much wonderful thing. There's so much wonderful energy in front of you. Is going to be an amazing year for you. And all I ask is that you prepare yourself. This meditation I posted up here will help you to a degree, but you have got to prepare yourself and be ready to explore and experiment and to experience all that will happen if you continue to be open and you make sure that you're listening and you're asking the questions and you're doing all the things you want. Otherwise, you're going to miss this opportunity. And again, I'm telling you, this year really feels great. I feel so much proper, positive energy around you, but you are your worst nightmare right now. So, pay attention, and start moving toward what's going to be an amazing year. I love it.
I do too. And Don, you've played that clip so many times, and I'll be like, oh, yeah, it really kind of felt like it was glaring at me this time.
Mhm.
And then the first thing she put up was I had surgery and I've been down. And I thought maybe that's what they knocked me on my ass. The surgery is what knocked me on my ass. And then the first thing she said is I've had surgery. And I feel like sometimes the world has to sit you down in order for you to slow down. Because one of the things I was going to say to Christina is you're very much in your masculine energy. They showed you rising up as the emperor, not the empress. That's a very masculine energy. It's a person who rules, who makes decision, who's very authoritative. You know, you have a lot of control, and I think you're too much in your masculine energy. You need to balance it out a little bit. I feel like you being down may have been hard for you to receive any care or help from anybody. And believe me, I know, because I was just down too for the last 5 weeks. And it was hard for me to just rest, to just sit there. And I feel like that's where you've been, is where you're like, well, what am I supposed to do? I'm just sitting here and I don't want to be a burden, or I don't want to sit here, or what should I be doing? I could be folding clothes. I could be washing dishes. I could be, organizing the garage, when what you really do need to sit. And I do feel like you will have that romantic vacation. You're going to need to plan that to rekindle your love with your because you said you're married, so I either got a rekindling or a new. And I feel like you really do need to get into your feminine side a little bit. And I'm hoping that, like Don said, March will be picking up for me too. So listen, I'm with you. Come back here, Christina, let me know. Let's see if we on that same elevator, on that same ladder up. We're both moving along, because we done both got
Exactly.
pushed down, and now we're kind of getting ourselves back together. So come
Yeah.
back and let us know. I really want to know, how it works for you once you get back on your feet.
It's interesting because Angie picked on something there. And it reminded me of a mutual friend of ours, and she needed to slow down, and she needed to slow down. And and she got hurt, and she messed up an ankle. I think it was an ankle, and um, and the when I talked to her, she said, "You know what? I kept hearing it, I kept knowing it, and I ignored it because I just wanted to push right through." And she said, "I did that." And one was that the one with the cow? Was the cow did it to her?
One of them, remember, if we're talking about,
Mm-hmm.
okay, she jumped off. Remember, she was getting off of a horse like she
Off a
always does,
horse.
and she
There you
came
go.
down and hurt her ankle. And then
Yes.
remember, the next time she was picking up a generator and messed
Yes.
up her back.
Yep,
Yeah,
getting off the horse. I was
yeah,
thinking cow for
yeah,
some reason. Getting off the horse. Yep,
yeah,
and this is somebody who ridden a horse always and has
yeah.
never had a problem dismounting. Oh yeah, and when I asked her, the funny thing is she's very positive, but and she's like I had the signs and I ignored them, and
Yeah,
she said
yeah.
this was the universe telling me stop, just stop, you know. And I thought how it's wonderful that she was positive, because she could have been pissed. I mean, I mean, why not, right? The world just like,
Done.
damn,
I was pissed.
yes,
Like, why do I have to sit down? What am I supposed to do?
exactly,
But
yeah,
and when you say you get the signs, like, because I pull cards for myself, and I
yeah,
kept getting the Four of Swords. The Four of Swords. You need to
yeah,
rest. You need to Four of Swords, Hangman, Temperance, all those
yeah.
things that tell you to slow down. And I'm like, whatever. If you want me to slow down, you'll tell you. And they, okay, you'll sit down. You'll sit right on down. And I sat right on down, and I have been sitting down for 5 weeks,
Long.
5 long weeks. Yeah.
Yeah, because Angie doesn't sit around. She's not that person. Angie loves to be moving and going. So
Listen, and don't like nobody to help. I can do it myself. I can get up. I can do this. But then mad because don't nobody want nobody help me the way that I want them to help.
exactly, it's like don't always tell me you love me, but you better tell me you love me.
Exactly. And I feel like Miss Christina, you just need to get a little bit more into that feminine energy and get back on track with you.
Yep,
Say no. I feel say no to a few people,
yep,
and stop letting people be connected to you, because right now it's just the universe disconnecting you from all those families who need all your advice. But it could come through as a tower moment where there's a huge upheaval. So
yep,
you right now you have the control to say no, to step back, to to keep distancing yourself from them, or to give them the lesson that they need while you're resting. This is a good time to say no. No, can't do it, I'm resting. Oh, I'm sorry, I'm resting. Oh, doctor's orders, I can't do it. And so in 5 weeks, you can get a lot of people where you can just push them back. In 5 weeks, you should have figured out your own solution by now. You still
yep,
shouldn't need that from me. And
yep,
so get back in that feminine energy. Go on that trip. I see you and your husband. And is this a significant anniversary for you? Because it feels like a rekindling of something, like you're reuniting. Because I keep seeing the Four of Wands, and so you're celebrating something significant, and it seems to be you too rekindling. but for a specific reason. So I do see you two having a great trip. So take that trip, just you two, and enjoy yourself. Just disconnect from the family and everybody else. But you'll be fine. And I'm glad that Don said it, because listen, I'm gonna take that for both of us. We're about to have a great 2025.
You are indeed, Miss Angie. You are indeed. You're going to shine bright like a diamond, as somebody once
Yeah,
said.
exactly. I still have that video, Don. Don't listen. I still have that video.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, Miss
Oh,
Angie,
her
that
husband came in too. He said I'm her husband. So
oh
her husband
really?
came in too. Yeah. There you
Oh,
go.
is that James?
Yep.
And he said, "Y'all exactly right." Ooh, there you go.
There you go.
Yeah.
Here come Keena. Johnny come lately. Keena, we leaving. Don't come talking to us.
Hey, Miss Keena, we're getting ready to roll out of here. I hit a brick wall. I hit it hard. I'm like, I had the energy coming in, but I told Angie earlier, I'm like, I just hit it. I thought I
And
was.
you know what Miss Bonnie said, that she said earlier today he was just so tired. I said, you know how you have that big surge and then it just all drained. So there you
Yeah,
go. But we did
exactly.
some good readings tonight.
We did indeed. Thank you, everybody, for coming in and giving us your energy. Remember, it's your energy that we pick up on. It's your energy that drives us to be able to make those connections and communications to you. And we appreciate that you share them with us, because they are your gifts. And we love that you would allow us in just a little bit. We'll take it. We'll
And
take what
Don will
we
be back on in the morning with Miss Shauna. Is
hopefully.
Miss Shauna okay? She
Yeah.
wasn't in the snow area, was she?
No, no, she's in Florida.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, she's further down in Florida. So I think she's good to go.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
I have to.
So
Yeah, we'll know in the morning. Yes,
she wasn't here Monday, but she did drop a video
yes, I
on
saw
how
that.
to do the new moon. So she didn't do tea time because I
Yeah,
was looking, but she did do the a video for the new moon. That's another one. If you go on is it divinely is it not divinely guided goddesspower.net,
Divine Goddess Tarot.
divine goddess tarot, either my page or Don's page, and you'll see Miss Shauna in there, and she just did a new posting for harnessing the new moon energy. So, and again,
Exactly.
she has that beautiful planner. So again, come back in the morning, Don and Miss Shauna maybe on 8-ish, 10-ish, somewhere around-ish. Me and Don got here at what, 9-ish, 8, 7-ish. We made it. We're ish. We'll
Exactly.
be here.
Exactly. Exactly. Again, thanks everybody. We do appreciate it. We'll talk to you later.
Don, get some rest.
Bye, everybody. Let me find something to get us
Good
out of here.
night.
Night night. There's something. There we go.
Do you have something to call us out?
I think so. Let's see.
Let's
Let's see
see.
this.